Hey, what it do? It's your boy Johnny Phantom. Turn out the lights. It's the motherfucking Poltergeist Report. Yo, pass me that? Oh, cool. Hey, so today we're gonna do on the Poltergeist Report. Right, we're gonna give a little intro. We got an interview coming up with my mans from across the pond, homie out in the UK, my dog Young Dementia. Now, me and him, we got a track coming up, so that's gonna be fire. We're gonna come out with that when the album drops. I think it's on the 29th, and we good to go. So today, what we're gonna do, right, on the Poltergeist Report is change up what our normal content is, and instead of reporting on rappers, we're going to talk about a topic today or tonight, whatever time you're listening to this. And that topic is going to be the state of hip hop right now, where it's likely to go in the future, and also where I believe the game should go. Now, as some of the people who know that listen to this, I'm a rapper myself. You know, I do, music, did a few shows, but I'm coming up in the rap game, and I'm starting to see, right, what a lot of people talk about, or a lot of things in the rap game tend to be smoke and mirrors. I can't tell you how many times I've come up to somebody that, is in the rap game, and I won't mention any names out of respect for these individuals, because, people do what they got to do to get on, and I don't blame anybody for what they got to do, man. You got to hustle out here, and however you can get it, you get it, man. It's not my place to judge you at all, homie. You know what I'm saying? I just got to keep it real, because, I'm a Florida kid, and that's how we do that shit in Florida. So I couldn't tell you how many people I've ran into and found out they're broke. Now, I don't make any illusions. The young nigga broke out here. Like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hustling just to get my bills paid on some real shit. And I keep that very transparent. Now, I did have a little up period, when I was styling and I had all this stuff, but out there in the streets, sometimes, you're going to take L's, you're going to get W's, and, I fucked up the money. Yeah, what it is. Shit, be what it be sometimes, bro. But, I'm coming back with, my own hustle. And I keep that very transparent in my music, too. And I feel like that part is authentic to what my message is to the people. And a lot of artists don't live up to this message. And I feel like hip hop's authenticity is sort of in this place where you don't have to be authentic for real. You just gotta push out an image to the people and let that shit blow up, and then come with me after that, because oh shit, get messages and shit. I mute the phone. I like to bring up an example. 6ix9ine, Daniel Hernandez. Niggas a snitch, everything. Now, I definitely believe in a snitch does not deserve to be a top 10 artist in hip hop. And damn, guys, but if you go back, damn, oh shit, yo, that Gorilla Glue smacking in there. But if you go back any generation before this one, there's no way a rat is getting any type of promotion, any type of, nobody's gonna put on a rat, nobody's going up to shake their hand, And back in the day, traditional hip hop outlets would never have put these kind of people into the spotlight. But they have. And the whole fact that this is done, I feel like, is a detriment to the future of the rap game. Because, alright, if it's cool and you have one poppin' snitch rapper, you're gonna get another one, and another one, and another one. And we already got low-key snitches all throughout the fucking rap game. We don't need that shit going public. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there's so many people who have sacrificed so much. Like, if you've never been in the streets yourself, you don't know. But when you do hop off the porch and you really start seeing shit firsthand and you're in that escalation and you cross that point of no return, you sacrifice so much. You lose everything. And, you know, a lot of times, many times in the streets, you're going to be pulling yourself back again from square one. Like, I'm not going to go into any specifics, but I couldn't tell you the amount of times, like, I've took an L and I had to do something desperate and just, you know, risk everything in order to try and, like, come back and recuperate. You know? And people need to know that. You know? Because, like, people want to know the truth, right? Because everybody talk about shooter, and this shooter, that shooter. I'm going to tell you 100% fact, nigga, that all these other niggas gonna lie about. 90% of shooters live with their mama. And that's the fucking truth. All these big-time killers, most of them, live with their mama. The hardest thugs, living with their mama. And you know why? Because you're going to take an L. You're going to go to jail. You're going to get hurt. Some shit's going to fuck the money up. You know what I'm saying? You get robbed. You know, and then you got to go out and get your get back. Come up on some money however you can. Because the thing is, nobody's going to give you a handout. There is no love in between them yellow lines. See, and that's the truth. But a lot of rappers today, you know, aren't talking about this, right? When I was a kid, I remember when Jeezy came out. Jeezy was the shit. It's like the Snowman. Jeezy. You know, flashing. He had the AMG before the rappers. He came into the game a millionaire with his own money. He was already rich, living in mansions. But he wanted the love that a rapper gets. Because you can pull up with the newest, most expensive 2020 Benz in the streets. But you're not going to get the same love as a rapper that's popular, and this nigga pulled up in the Toyota Corolla. It's the same thing as you could put 10 grand on the street, easy. But you won't get as much love as a rapper who puts like 2 or 5 in the nigga's hand. Because now having a lot of followers makes you the shit. But behind closed doors, a lot of these niggas is snitches. You know what I'm saying? They out here saying, like, you know, they got home and, you know, anti-gay lyrics, but behind closed doors and in jail, they were gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real shit. But see, the people who are in charge of the industry, they don't want you to know this type of shit. And there's a reason for that. Because it's not glamorous. For every good time I ever had in the street, I had 100 bad times. 100 fucked up nights. Where I'm just like, man, I'm gonna rock with it and get through this shit. Cause, you know, like, you just gotta keep going and keep going. That's it. You got no option. See, I feel like if you listen to the song, Push It to the Limit, and you really hear the words, and I'm not talking about the Rick Ross song, that shit, it was okay, but the original is much better, you know, because you're walking a razor's edge at any single time. Anytime you do this, you're walking that razor's edge where you could slip up and it's the last time, right? Because the reason why it's called the game is because you're gambling, you're playing, you're risking everything, and you get a few winners, but most people are losers, right? Most people are locked up, shot up, all kinds of shit in the hospital, wheelchaired up, all kinds of shit. And that's the shit that they really don't want to show you. And now the people that they put on are now just flat out snitching, man. Like, because now, here's the next thing. When the next popular rapper comes up, right, that's affiliated and they have a connection in the street, are they gonna, you know, be okay with this person telling when the time comes and it's time to see if you're real? Because here's the thing about that. You can't, you know, might as well not fuck with anybody in the game because this nigga telling you, right? Now, the reason, like my next project, right, I'm calling it The Hustler's Handbook. And, you know, if you know what I'm talking about and you just listen, you're going to figure out the jewels I'm dropping. But you got to pick them up, shot them up yourself. See, when I first hopped off the porch, I kind of looked to music for guidance. And a lot of people do this. And another problem is a lot of these rappers talk about things that they've never done and say some off the wall shit that is not actually good advice, and you got people fucked up. Like, for example, I believe it was Almighty Suspect that he had a line that he's never rolling with ID because he's got 6 names. Okay. Let me break this down to motherfuckers that, you know, idolize these rappers, but they don't really know shit. Anytime you go to jail, you're fingerprinted. No matter if you go just because you're drunk, whatever. First time you go to jail, you're fingerprinted. Right? And whatever, if you don't got identification, whatever you give them, they're going to take it down. Here's the problem. Let's say you get caught again. When they fingerprint you, your name is going to pop up. Okay? Because, you know, it's a large database. And if you get caught in the same county, you'll be in that database. Okay? And the thing is, a lot of states now, in 2020, those databases are statewide. So if you got arrested, for example, I'm a Florida nigga, so I'm going to talk about Florida. Let's say you get arrested in Miami, right? And then you go get arrested again in Orlando. Orlando will be able to see that you went to jail in Miami. That's how they figure out, oh, you've got a warrant for your arrest in another state. Because of how large these databases is. So they have your fingerprints. So now you go give them another name. First of all, that's a charge. Committing fraud, you know, giving false information, failure to identify. Like, you're just getting a big compound charge. And, you know, then if you're in a place like, you know, California, that they have a crazy gang enhancement and all kinds of other stuff, right? Bam, you just picked up a big ass charge. So it's a lot of proof that most of these rappers don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and you're gonna get jammed up. Right? And I'm telling you, youngins out there, is what's gonna happen. Now, some guys, they really give you that truth. They tell you what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, big examples would be like Draco the Ruler, O3 Greedo, you know, Jack Boy. A lot of these, there's a lot of rappers out there that give you a lot of truth, you know? But you gotta understand, a lot of people are liars, right? Especially street people, right? A lot of people don't know real street people, but most of them, you can't trust them, and they're liars, right? It's very rare that you will find that one person who is, they're gonna do great business and, hold your back and shit, and you got, have you, hold you down. It's crazy, because you got to think about it like this. Your best friend will snitch on you easy to get off for some time. Happens all the time. Think about this. John Gotti's best friend was Sammy the Bull, and he snitched on him, right? And to people in the streets, right, there's a code, right? No snitching. The Italians call it omerta. The Chinese call it, what is it? Like oath under heaven. There's all different types of codes throughout every street culture, right? And what does that say? You don't cooperate with the government. You don't tell on anybody, right? And if you told the secret, you take that shit to your grave. Now, today in the game, it seems like we just got all this shit fucked up, right? And I believe this happens because if you look at it, many of these labels, record companies, right? The major hip hop ones like Interscope, or even the ones that are more run by rappers / like, using term people, like, for example, Rock Nation has Daisy Perez. There's many people in other labels and corporate places in the music industry that they're rats themselves, right? And see, a lot of people like Meek Mill say, hey, this person rat, because you're gonna know, like, if you look into the person you're working with, that paperwork is out there. Meek Mill is with Daisy Perez every day, so he's with the rat. Now, me personally, I would never sign to Rock Nation no matter what because of that. And I've had opportunities to get little shits, and I've turned them all down because, to me, I gotta be a person of integrity, right? And if I were to take something like that, it's hypocrisy. This is the same as I've been offered deals with various things, and I couldn't get, the rights that I wanted. So I said, fuck it. I ain't gonna do that shit. And to me, in the end, I think that was better because, you really have to fight for the rights to control the music. And I know it's hard, because, like, shit, I'm not gonna lie. Now, today in 2020, at this moment, I work 9 to 5. And shit, I be going broke trying to afford this rap shit. And shit is what it is, because I'm investing in myself and want my Nipsey Hussle shit. And that's just is what it is. But I have the ability to now say at this stage of my life, because I'm 25 soon, in a few weeks, and I believe that to be at this old, because there's a lot of people who didn't make it to 25. Got a lot of friends that aren't here right now, but I moved on from a lot of that. Today, I'm living a totally legit life. And my music also reflects that too. Because I reference, a lot of it as things in the past. And I believe too that is another thing that we should talk about in the game is people need to stop rapping about things they're currently doing. Please save things for the past. Because right now, so many artists are having their music turned against them. Right? Because a lot of these, in Florida, basically like any term for the police is the crackers. So, like if any of these crackers, they catch you and, 12, they determining their judgment. You can't be actively rapping about things that the police are currently investigating, or people give too many details. Like, for example, a whole rap group in where is it? Boston, right? Headshot Mafia, all are going to jail now, and because they decided to recreate the murders in their music videos, which, that's stupid. Like, come on. Like, can we at least be a little smart in hip hop today and stop, with all the no snitching, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, you can't snitch on yourself either. Well, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. You should not snitch on yourself. And it's like a plague in the modern rap game in this generation to tell on yourself. Like, you don't have to mention the name of a body you caught. If people know you and you give the right vivid details, people are going to know what's legit and know what's phony. Because like TK, Draco, 03 Greedo, a lot of these rappers, NFL Cartel Bo, we're losing a lot of talent to this. Now I understand, like, it's how people are living and it's the thing people want to see. But we need to come together as, the artists and as the community of rap to stop this, because it's going to get to a point that you won't be able to say or do anything in a music video or on a record without, basically going to jail. Especially with, like, there are rappers that their whole lifestyle and persona is completely fiction. And they don't get in any trouble, but the song's still just as hard because, they're not giving real details. And this is something we should move forward to in the rap game, because if not, we're going to get to a point, especially if Biden and Kamala Harris win, that everybody's about to do the Locked Up remix, right? You're going to have everybody on the Locked Up, right? Whole group's first record is just going to be a version of Locked Up in prison with no beat, just fucking like, I'm locked up, beating on the table and shit. All right. So we should definitely move away from this, right? Now, in the case of the Slim Jesuses and things like that, and the people are pretending, I don't know. When I was younger, I kind of felt that, okay, we shouldn't have anybody in the game who's like lying about what they do. Like, Future's not really on drugs like that. He shouldn't rap about that. Slim Jesus is not shooting at the ops, and he's not trapping. Like, you shouldn't rap about that, right? And when I was younger, 19, 20, first starting to rap, I definitely was like, I'm only gonna rap what I live about, and definitely the music from that time is a reflection of that. And I think that it's that air of legitimacy, I shouldn't have put it forward then. I'm very lucky that I'm able to get to the point now where enough of these things are in the past. And, we can move on. Because a lot of people are making it to 25, right? And I'm never going to claim like I was no OG or anything like that. I just, I had a few people that I really rock with, and shit went how it went. Like, listen, if your circle can't fit in a Nissan Altima, you got fuck niggas around you, bro. Like, 03 Greedo, like, straight up. I'm gonna make you mention him because that's one of my favorite rappers. Now, one thing I'll say is free Draco, free Greedo, free TK, free C Murda, free a lot of people, because even though they did a lot of bad things, and none of these were good actions, and everybody knows what they're doing at the time, it definitely there should be a, a moniker or not modicum, sorry, of sympathy for, you know, the people. But definitely they do need to serve their debt to society if convicted. But, you know, I hope and I know everyone is innocent until proven guilty. So I also think we should do more on every level of rap to glorify the NFs, the Little Dickies, you know, the Mac Millers, RP Mac Miller, the I guess I could say the good rap and the conscious rap, along with, you know, the street element at the same time, because I think both elements are very essential to American hip hop. Because when you're looking for the ultra lyricism of the golden era of hip hop, the 90s, you could definitely say you can find that in an NF, and you can find that definitely flow in like terms of flow, Little Dicky, you know. And if you're talking about who just has like a great vibe to music, you could definitely say G-Eazy. But on the flip side, even though street rappers are not as common to be ultra lyrical, you do have them. For example, Maxo Cream, very lyrical rapper, as well as who would I say from another era? Because I don't want to name just a bunch of Texas rappers right now. I would say in terms of flow, coming from Florida, you could definitely say like just the whole Florida vibe of like Melly and Glock 9 and Pootie and Jack Boy and, you know, Youngin, all these people, right? Very well have a vibe, right? I would also say in terms of things like popularity, like for your J. Cole's and your Kendricks, you do have, you know, NBA Youngboy. And now there's more artists in the streets that are starting to get that megalithic popularity in the mainstream audience, or at least even if not in the mainstream audience, there's enough people now that street element has enough of a following in order to get a very, you know, even source of revenue. Because in the past, if you stayed street, you kind of went broke, you know, because in the street aspect, it was very hard to be a multi-generational rapper, because just like the street culture is ultra masculine, you know, and as you know, generation to generation, things like masculinity and what's deemed that and not changes. So, you know, it's just a cultural clash between generations, and it's kind of how things go when it comes to, you know, those, you know, that type of person and that type of environment. But we need to stop that, right? We need to, you know, instead of saying like, okay, these guys are old and that style's old and not good, you know, or, you know, this style sounds like noise and nonsense. It's definitely, I say, a lot better. Okay, you don't like Lil Uzi, but you might like Joey Badass. Okay, you don't like maybe Meg Thee Stallion, but you might like a Maya X or a Lauryn Hill. You know, and there's many songs that are multi-generational, just as rappers. Like, for example, think about Gucci Mane. Right, Gucci Mane, he has been, since the time he came out, Every generation, he's been accepted on all levels of street, and people will even go back to the past to listen to old Gucci. You got new niggas who go back and listen to the old Gucci. Same thing with Lil Boosie, you know, and many other rappers in the area, you know, and more of that coming together, I think, would do better for everyone. And I think being able to have, you know, rappers from different generations come together in order to kind of spread, you know, that fan base and love of hip hop in the community. Because, you know, everybody says like, oh yeah, my fans versus your fans, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, right, once you really look at it and you see how analytics and things break down and stuff works, it's not about having, you know what I'm saying, his fans or my fans. It's everybody's got the same fans. Everybody's got the same fans. The only difference is, right, is when someone comes into that lane or that genre, there's this many people that listen to it. And a lot of times how people will grow is they'll listen to one artist, right? And then they'll branch out and see this different artists and find out they like them. And then, you know, think about how many people who are Travis Scott fans that are also Kanye fans, who are also Playboi Carti fans. See, so a lot of the fandom is shared. And that's the way, at least in the independent, you know, section, hip hop should grow. Also, I think a thing we need to do, right, is work on maybe having it so that when people, right, have connections with their fans, people need to go for having a real following over just having a high follower count. Because one thing you really learn when you get into the game and when you figure out who's really rich, sometimes the people with the most following on Instagram aren't making the same amount of money as an artist that has a fraction of the following as the other one does, because they're doing more shows. They have more people to buy tickets. Have you ever wondered when you look at a music festival billing how a way bigger artist is below a different artist, and you're like, how the hell did it happen on the billing? But the reason for that is because that guy who's up there is known to sell more hard copies of tickets, right? And the biggest way you could ever actually support an artist is going out and buying the tickets, because that puts more money in the artist's pocket than, I would say, streaming it. And even buying a CD, just paying for a ticket to a show is going to do more, because, you know, if an artist is selling out every single venue that they go through and then suddenly they get to stadiums, right? Like, for example, notice that Russ is doing stadiums in Europe. Packed out shows, right? And then you got other people, right, that are way more relevant in the American hip hop scene, which is bigger than Europe's and the rest of the world's, that are, you know, can't even fill a club with like 2,000 people. So rappers also, on their part, need to start improving more and telling people about the part on also focusing on stage shows and live performances. Because in the future, right, people aren't going to always, you know, want to get these crazy merch bundles and ticket deals because, you know, that's the new fad now. But in order for hip hop not to burn out, you know, there needs to be a change in momentum, and that starts with being more transparent with the fans and more transparent about the process, and stop doing things like, you know, so many artists, right, before they get a lot of followers and they get that hit, right? They have a bunch of whole pictures showing their whole process of like when they started from being broke to when they started making money to then, you know, suddenly they have a massive hit, get 40 million views, start deleting all those pictures and act like they just came out. You know, people should definitely deserve to know the truth, because I think that's the first step in bringing the integrity back to the rap game. Now, I think people like 30 Deep Grimsy, and BFB the Pac-Man definitely do a very good job of bringing this type of thing to the forefront. And I believe now with the positive trend of more rappers starting to be transparent and real about who they are is going to become the trend. And it'll start to overtake the original old, like, oh, I'm going to flash and pretend. Like, you know how many people pretend they got money in their music video, that the Benz is their friends, the money's fake, that's not real drugs on the table and shit like that. Like, happens all the time. But there are also ones that, yeah, it's real, you know? But there's more fake than real, you know? Like, there's so many videos where, like, rappers be posting with these big-ass guns and rifles and all this shit. But really, they're just, like, costumed airsoft weapons. And, you know, this dude's never seen a strap in his life. And damn sure definitely not used one. So, you know, we should definitely tell the truth about that. But I do also believe that we can find a space for, I don't know, call it act rap or fake rap, whatever you want to call it, because I think that also has its spot too, you know? Fuck it, like, you know, don't block someone's source to shine. Now, a lot of things too, right, comes with a lot of this unnecessary beef in the game. I think like a lot of people are beefing for no reason in the rap game today. And, you know, it's just gonna go crazy because, like, it seems like everybody today in the rap game is having beef. It's like almost it's the only way to stay and become relevant in Corona times, because, you know, a lot of people are losing money and can't flex like they used to because, you know, a lot of people's streaming numbers aren't there. You know, there's a lot of artists that they don't have big streaming numbers, but, you know, they do a lot of shows. And I think that right there is probably, when it comes back, you know, probably around Christmas, I think that'll be, you know, the next charge in the rap game. But we got to see if that's going to happen. Who knows? She could get all fucked up, you know. They could be like 106.9s next year, this year, you know. But thank you very much for listening to the Poltergeist Report. Stay safe.